faking all the rest. So I'm not giving up, I'm just giving in to the part of me that needs to break. I'm not giving up, I'm just letting it all come down for my own sake. And it feels so strange to finally sit in the middle of the mess I've made. But I'm not giving up tonight, I'm just letting the tide finally have its say. I used to think that asking for a hand made me smaller than I am. I used to think that falling to my knees was the same as losing everything. But somewhere in the middle of the fall, I heard a voice so soft and small saying, you can rest here, you can stay. And I finally stopped running away. 'Cause I'm not giving up, I'm just giving in to the part of me that needs to break. I'm not giving up, I'm just letting it all come down for my own sake. And it feels so strange to finally sit in the middle of the mess I've made. But I'm not giving up tonight, I'm just letting the tide finally have its say. Maybe this is what it means to be brave. Not to fight, but to let the wave wash over you and not resist. To finally let the armor slip. And when I opened up my hands, I found they were in empty lands. They were holding all the help I never knew was always waiting to come through. I'm not giving up, I'm just giving in. And for the first time I feel alright. I'm not giving up, I'm just letting in the help that's standing at my side. And it feels like coming home at last, to a place I never knew I had. I'm not giving up tonight, I'm just letting the tide finally be alright. Not giving up, just giving in to the quiet, to the wind. Not giving up, just letting the tired wind. And I'm alright, I'm alright. I used to think that every question had a closing line, that every hole inside the heart was something you could fill in time. I'd stay up late and trace the edges of the things I couldn't find, thinking if I looked enough I'd leave the doubt behind. Now I'm just letting the unanswered be. Not everything needs a key, some doors just stay the way they are. And that's alright, that's what I've learned so far. I'm letting the unanswered breathe. They don't need a remedy, they just need a little space to be a quiet, peaceful place. I used to think that moving on meant understanding why, that closure was a door that you could open if you tried. But every time I reached for it, it faded from my sight. And I was left with nothing but a long and sleepless night. Now I'm just letting the unanswered be. Not everything needs a key, some doors just stay the way they are. And that's alright, that's what I've learned so far. I'm letting the unanswered breathe. They don't need a remedy, they just need a little free to let it be the scenery, not something I must solve or fight, just something that becomes my quiet night. So I'm just letting the unanswered be. They finally set me free, not by giving me the truth I sought, but by teaching me the worth of not knowing everything, of letting go, of letting mystery slowly grow into something that I can hold without needing it to be told. Letting the unanswered be, they're just here, and I'm still here, and that's enough to disappear into the quiet, into the peace of letting the unanswered be released. I woke up one morning and looked around. Everything looked the same, but something wasn't found. The books I used to read were gathering dust. The music that moved me had lost its trust. I tried to remember the last time I left, not the polite kind, but the one that comes from deep, and I couldn't, and I felt something crack in the quiet of the morning's first sleep. So where did I go? Where did I leave myself? Did I put me on a high and dusty shelf? Was I so busy keeping you around that I forgot the person I had found? Where did I go? I'm looking now, I'm tracing back the steps somehow. I'm not the same, but I'm still there, just waiting underneath the care. I started small with the simplest things, a song I loved before the weight of rings, a walk I used to take when I was free, a corner of the room that used to be just me. And slowly something started to appear, not loud, not grand, but real and near, like a voice I hadn't heard in years, whispering through the disappearing fears. So where did I go? Where did I leave myself? Did I put me on a high and dusty shelf? Was I so busy keeping you around that I forgot the person I had found? Where did I go? I'm looking now, I'm tracing back the steps somehow. I'm not the same, but I'm still there, just waiting underneath the care. And maybe that's the thing you never see when you're pouring yourself out so easily. You think you're loving, you think it's right, but you're just disappearing in the night. And the one you were before you met, the one you haven't found yet, is still alive, just tucked away, waiting for a different, quieter day. And now I know where I went, I know where I was. I was buried in the kindness and the cause of loving someone more than I love me. But I'm here. I'm here.
I heard the quiet before it had a name. The space between the notes that never came. It lived inside the pause of my own breath. A silent room with nothing left. But then a whisper barely there, like feathers falling through the air, told me that I wasn't alone in the stillness of my own home. And the world began to hum, a melody that always come from somewhere deep beneath the noise, from somewhere I had lost my voice. So I listened to the softest sound, the one that never makes a sound at all. It lives in the spaces between the ground and the way that the stars decide to fall. It doesn't speak in words, I know. It moves like water, slow and low, and it tells me who I am without a single syllable, just the gentle span of silence, learning how to sing. The moonlight painted shadows on the floor, and I could hear the colors at the door. Blue was a sigh and gold was a glow. Purple was the feeling of letting go. I didn't need to understand the language of the shifting sand, or the way the wind decides to turn. I just had to feel the burn of being present, being here with nothing left to fear. And the universe, it spoke, not in thunder, not in smoke, but in the trembling of a leaf, in the quiet after grief. So I listened to the softest sound, the one that never makes a sound at all. It lives in the spaces between the ground and the way that the stars decide to fall. It doesn't speak in words, I know. It moves like water, slow and low, and it tells me who I am without a single syllable, just the gentle span of silence, learning how to sing. And maybe this is what it means to be a part of something vast, something free. Not to conquer, not to fight, but to be held by the quiet night, to let the stillness sink so deep into the corners I couldn't keep, that when I finally let it in, I found where all my songs begin. Not in the shouting, not in the scream, but in the waking from a dream, where everything I ever was just a breath and just because. Now I hear the softest sound, the one that was always around. It doesn't need a voice to speak. It's in the spaces, in the weak, in the crumbling, in the break, in the silence that we used to fake. It tells me I am whole and true in everything I never knew. The softest sound is finally found. It's always been the only sound that ever needed to be sung. From the moment I was young, the softest sound, the softest sound, humming now all around. expect to find a ticket stub from 2 years past, still folded in the line. The ink was faded, almost gone. The movie I can't place, but I remember whose hand was in mine, and the look upon your face, and the rain outside my window sounds the same as it did then, falling soft and steady over and over again. I don't feel sad, I don't feel much, just the ghost of a touch. It's just a rainy day, cold on a rainy day, holding memories that are slipping away. I don't need to keep it, I don't need to leave it, I just need to feel it for a moment and believe it, that something good was here, something real, and the way it felt is still something I can feel. Not with my hands, but with the way the rain sounds on a rainy day. The collar used to hold your scent, something soft and sweet. Now it just smells like old wool and the dust of my street. I pressed it to my face and closed my eyes and tried so hard to find a trace of you still hiding in the fabric of my mind. But all I got was the memory of trying to remember, like the last few leaves of autumn, holding on to December. And the rain outside my window doesn't ask me to explain, it just keeps falling, falling, washing down the pain. I don't feel lost, I don't feel found, just a quiet, gentle sound. It's just a rainy day, coat on a rainy day, holding memories that are slipping away. I don't need to keep it, I don't need to leave it, I just need to feel it for a moment and believe it, that something good was here, something real, and the way it felt is still something I can feel. Not with my hands, but with the way the rain sounds on a rainy day. Maybe that's all we ever really keep, the feeling of a feeling soft and deep. Not the person, not the place, just the warmth upon your face. When the rain was coming down and you were in a different town, and you were happy and so was I, and we didn't even need to try. It's just a rainy day, coat on a rainy day, but I'm gonna hang it back and let it stay. I don't need to wear it, I don't need to leave it, I'm just glad I found it for a moment and believed it, that something good was here, something true, and the way it felt is still a part of you, and a part of me in a gentle way, like the rain on a rainy day. Rainy day, cold, rainy day, cold. I'll see you around in the back of the closet when the rain comes down. Rainy day, cold, rainy day, rainy day, cold. I thought the world had lost its color for good, that everything would stay the shade of gray. I'd walked the same streets, understood that beauty had packed up and gone away. I didn't look for it, I didn't try. I just lived inside a quieter eye. And then one morning, ordinary and plain, something shifted without a name. And something beautiful still finds me when I'm not even trying to see. It comes in through the smallest cracks and gently pulls the darkness back. I thought the light had said goodbye, but it was only resting for a while. And something beautiful, something true still finds its way to what I do. It wasn't a grand or a thunderous thing, just a bird on a wire learning how to sing. Just a crack in the pavement with green pushing through, just a sky that had turned a softer blue. And I stopped in my tracks, I forgot to breathe at the way the light was trying to weave through the branches of an old oak tree. And for a moment the world was free. And something beautiful still finds me when I'm not even trying to see. It comes in through the smallest cracks and gently pulls the darkness back. I thought the light had said goodbye, but it was only resting for a while. And something beautiful, something true still finds its way to what I do. Maybe that's the way it's always been. The beautiful doesn't need you to let it in. It just arrives when you're not looking, like a page in a book you weren't reading. And suddenly it's there and you remember the world has never been just amber. It's been waiting for you to turn your head to see what's been there all along instead. And something beautiful still finds me, and now I finally let it be. It doesn't ask me to be fixed, it just arrives and softly sits beside the parts that still feel sore, and reminds me there is so much more than all the grief I used to hold. The beautiful is brave and bold, and it still finds me, yes it does, through the broken, through the was. Something beautiful, something kind cups of coffee out of habit again. Yours is still sitting there, growing cold. I told myself I'd let it go, but I keep setting the table for two, like something's still waiting for you. Maybe the silence is just what I need. Maybe I'm planting a different kind of seed. Oh, Sundays without you don't feel so blue. They're just quieter in the afternoon. I walk through the market, the same old stands, but I don't stop to hold your hands. It's not sadness, not the way it used to be. It's just a slower version of me. I try to read that book you left behind, the one you said would open up my mind. I got to page 37, then I lost the thread. Went back to counting ceiling cracks instead. And I wonder if you do the same somewhere, filling hours with empty air. Maybe we're both learning how to be alone, but not lonely, finally. Oh, Sundays without you don't feel so blue. They're just quieter in the afternoon. I walk through the market, the same old stands, but I don't stop to hold your hands. It's not sadness, not the way it used to be. It's just a slower version of me. I used to think these hours were ours to fill. Now I see they're just time standing still, and still is okay. Still is a place where I can rest my weary face. No rush to find somebody new. I'm learning Sundays without you. Oh, Sundays without you are starting to feel like a gentle, honest kind of real. I still walk the market, I still buy the bread, I eat it slowly in my bed. It's not sadness, not what I used to know. It's just letting the quiet grow. Sundays without you, without you. The coffee's warm enough, the day is long, and I'm writing my own song. Sundays without you, alright. I finally met a girl, darling on my way, running around. I spent so many years trying to be someone they'd wanna see. Change my voice, change my stride, kept the real me deep inside. Told myself someday soon I'd find the right tune, but someday never came. I got lost in the sound, and then the day I finally met myself. 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 And then the day I finally met myself, just weren't looking up above. Used to measure my worth by what I gave away, by how much I could bend and break for everyone else's sake. But somewhere in the giving I forgot my own name, forgot my own flame. And then the day I finally met myself, 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 I finally met myself. And then the day I finally met myself, I wasn't looking, I was somewhere else. I just stopped running for a breath and saw my face for the first time yet. I said, where have you been all these years? The answer came without any tears. You were here the whole time, love. You just weren't looking up above. Maybe that's the thing we never know. We're always who we're meant to be. We just get so busy with the show, we forget to see. Stop and turn around, there we are, solid ground. Not a stranger, not a ghost, just the one we needed most. I finally met myself, 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 I finally met myself. And now the day I finally met myself, I'm not afraid to put me on the shelf, alongside everyone I love, because I finally know enough. I'm not the mask I wore, but what was waiting at the core? I said, welcome home, it's been too long. The answer came back in a song. You were here the whole time, love. Now you're finally looking up above. The day I finally met myself, I smiled and stayed a while. No. And now I know I am the one I was looking for all along. All along. All along. All along. I used to think the roots were prisons, tethering me to the weight of old decisions. I tried to pull them from the ground, to leave no trace, to make no sound. But every time I dug too deep, I found a memory I couldn't keep, from bleeding through my desperate hands and settling back into the lands. Then the rain came down so softly, not to drown me but to feed, and I felt the soil moving where I planted all my need. The roots that hold me still are not the chains I fear. They drink from all the rain that fell in every broken year. They twist and turn and find their way through dark and heavy ground, and what I thought would bury beside me tell a story of seasons spent in search of glory, and seasons spent in search of rest, of winters that I thought were best, forgotten but they're still inside, the layers I no longer hide. They speak of drought and they speak of flood, and of the softening of blood. And the sun came through the branches, not to blind me but to show that everything I've carried is the reason that I grow. The roots that hold me still are not the chains I fear. They drink from all the rain that fell in every broken year. They twist and turn and find their way through dark and heavy ground. And what I thought would bury me has finally held me down in the gentlest way I've ever known. The roots have made me whole. They've gathered all the scattered parts and taught them how to grow. And maybe this is what it means to finally let the past be seen, not as something to escape, but as the very thing that shaped the shape I am, the form I take, the branches that will bend and break and still reach upward, still reach wide because of what I hold inside, not despite it, but because of every single thing that was. The roots that hold me still have taught me how to stand with all the weight of all my years softly in my hands. They don't demand I let them go or cut them from the earth. They only ask I let them be and honor what they're worth in the gentlest way I've ever known. The roots have set me free, not by letting go of what has been, but by letting it be me. The hold me still, not to trap me, but to fill me with the ground where I am found. The root, hold me still. I still remember how it used to feel, like there was something heavy on my chest. Every breath I took was something I had to steal, like I was failing some invisible test. But I don't know when it started letting go. Maybe it was gradual, maybe it was slow. All I know is one day I woke up and the air came in without the ache, like the room had finally opened up and I could breathe for my own sake. That's how the air becomes so light, not all at once but overnight. The weight just leaves the way it came, without a reason, without a name. And you wake up and the world is wide, and the air is soft on either side, and you don't know why but you're breathing now like you belong. I used to fill the silence up with noise, so I wouldn't have to hear my own thoughts. I'd turn the music up to drown the voice that told me all the things that I had lost. But somewhere in the middle of the trying, something in the quiet started lying down beside me, soft and still, and told me I had time to heal. And slowly I began to understand that healing doesn't come with a plan. It comes the way the fog will clear without announcing it's near. That's how the air becomes so light. Not all at once but overnight. The weight just leaves the way it came, without a reason, without a name. And you wake up and the world is wide, and the air is soft on either side. And you don't know why it took so long, but you're breathing now like you belong. And maybe that's the thing about the pain. You think it's never gonna leave. You think it's written in your veins. You think it's everything you'll ever grieve. But then the air just changes without you even noticing. And what used to feel so strange is suddenly a gentle thing. That's how the air becomes so light. One morning you're just doing fine. You don't remember when it went away. You just know it's not there today. And you open up your window wide, and you feel it rush to either side. And you smile because you didn't try. The air just came, you don't know why. But you're breathing now, you're breathing now. The air becomes so light, so light. You breathe, and you're right. The air becomes so light, so light. And you're right. I used to give my heart away, like it was something I could spare. Like I had endless rooms inside me, always more to share. I'd empty out my own life just to fill up someone else, until I couldn't tell where they began and where I felt. But now I keep a light for myself, a little flame upon my own shelf. It doesn't mean I love you less, it just means I know my own address. I keep a light so I can see the parts of me that still are me. And when you go and when you stay, I'll still be here, I'll be okay. I used to think that holding back was some kind of a crime, that love meant losing everything you knew about your time. But somewhere in the middle of the giving and the bend, I found a line I wouldn't cross, a place where I could end. keep a light for myself, a little flame upon my own shelf. It doesn't mean I love you less, it just means I know my own address. I keep a light so I can see the parts of me that still are me. And when you go and you stay, I'll still be here, I'll be okay. And maybe that's the thing they never tell you. Love is not a burning out but a steady bell. You ring from where you stand on solid ground, not from where you're falling down. I can hold your hand and still be whole, I can love you deep and keep my soul from drifting out into the dark. I finally found the place to start. So I keep a light for myself, and it's the truest kind of wealth. It doesn't mean I'm pulling back, it means I know the sacred track that leads me home to who I am. Through every yes and every am, and when you leave and when you're near, my little light is always here. I keep a light for myself, not to hide, but to be well. I keep a light so I can love from the ground and up above. I keep a light just for me, and that's how I stay free. So tell them no. I see you there from years ago, so young and trying, so hard to know the way to love, the way to stay, the way to keep the pain away. You made mistakes, you broke some things, you held too tight with trembling wings. And every night you lay awake wondering how much more you take. But I'm not here to blame you now, I'm just here to tell you how the person that you thought you failed is finally standing, finally well. And I forgive you not for them. Begin to bloom into a gentle, airy falsetto, not loud but open and expansive, like a door finally open. And I'm not here to blame you now, I'm just here to tell you how the person that you thought you failed is finally standing, finally well. And I forgive you not for them, but for the way you carried them. And I forgive you not for them, but for the way you carried breath. For all the nights you couldn't sleep, this is me, forgiving me. I see the tears you tried to hide, the words you swallowed deep inside, the love you gave that wasn't returned, the bridges you watched as they burned. You did your best with what you had, you were just learning, just a lad, a heart too open, hands too free to see what would become of me. But I'm not here to blame you now, I'm just here to tell you how the person that you thought you failed is finally standing, finally well. And I forgive you not for them, but for the way you carried them. And I forgive you not for them, but for the way you carried them. For all the nights you couldn't sleep, this is me, forgive And if I could reach across the years, I'd hold your face and dry your tears. I'd tell you something you should have known, that you were never all alone, that all the things you thought were wrong were just the verses of a song that needed time to find its key before it could become this me. This is me forgiving me. Forgiving me is how I'm free to be the one I'm meant to be. Forgiving me is letting go of all the things I used to know about who I was meant to be. Forgiving me is finally me. I used to wear so many different faces, trying to find the one that fit the places. I was standing in the rooms I walked through. I thought the real me just wouldn't get through. So I changed my laugh, I changed my stride. I kept the truest parts of me inside. And every night I'd ask the ceiling if I was ever gonna find my feeling. But all this time I was becoming me. Every wrong turn, every wannabe. Every time I tried to be someone else was just me learning to love myself. I didn't know it then, but now I see. All this time I was becoming me. I used to envy people who seemed sure, who never questioned what their hearts were for. I'd watch them move so light and free and wonder what was wrong with me. But somewhere in the middle of the trying, the wanting and the constant buying of other people's ways to be, I started finding little pieces of me. And all this time I was becoming me. Every wrong turn, every wannabe. Every time I tried to be someone else was just me learning to love myself. I didn't know it then, but now I see. All this time I was becoming me. Maybe that's the gift that I was given, not to know the path, but to be driven through the doubt and through the ache, and to arrive not by mistake but was never going wrong. All this time I was becoming me, and now I stand where I was meant to be. Not perfect, not the finished song, but somehow still where I belong. Every stumble, every fake was leading to this real estate of being here, of being true, of finally being the me I knew was hiding underneath the years. The one who conquered all the fears. All this time, all this way I was becoming, day by day. All this time I was becoming not someone new, just someone coming home to what I always had. A soul that tried and wasn't bad. All this time I was becoming me, and now I'm finally free to leave here. I used to fill my days with somewhere else to go. A new city, a new goal, a new way to grow. I thought that staying still meant falling behind, so I kept running, kept moving, kept changing my mind. But somewhere in the middle of the going, I noticed I was always just flowing into the next thing, the next place, the next name. And I never learned to stay, so I'm learning to stay where I am, learning to let the world come and not cram my life with things I don't really need. I'm learning to stay, learning to breathe, learning that staying is not giving up. It's just learning to fill your own cup before you pour it into the next place you'll be. I'm learning to stay, and it's setting me free. I used to think that staying was a kind of loss, that you had to keep moving to count the cost of being alive, of being awake, of making sure you never made a mistake. But I got tired of the endless race, and I found a quiet and a gentler pace where I could sit and watch the sky, and I wonder if I should say goodbye. I'm learning to stay where I am, learning to let the world come and not cram my life with things I don't really need. I'm learning to stay, learning to breathe, learning that staying is not giving up. It's just learning to fill your own cup before you pour it into the next place you'll be. I'm learning to stay, and it's setting me free. Maybe that's the thing we never know. The place we're running from is where we need to go. Not away but into, not escape and meet the ground beneath our own 2 feet. And when I finally sat and didn't move, I found a stillness I didn't know could soothe. And I realized I'd been running from the very place I'd finally come. And now I stay where I am, not because I've given up the plan, but because I know that here is real, and here is the only place I can feel the weight of my life, the shape of my days, and I don't need to run away. I'm learning to stay, and it's not a defeat, it's the sweetest way to finally meet the person I was always meant to be. In the simple act of staying me, I'm learning to stay. And I'm alright, learning to stay through the night. I remember dreaming big when I was 17. Nothing in the world could ever stop me. But somewhere down the road I lost the younger me. Now I'm staring at the floor, asking where I'm supposed to be. Another door closed, another sorry, not this time. Another day of wondering if I'll ever shine. My hands are shaking, but I'm still holding on to something I can't see. But I know it's not gone. So I'm learning to fall, learning to break, learning to bend before I break. Every stumble, every scar is teaching me how strong we are. I'm learning to fall so I can fly. With every tear, I'm getting by. It's not the end, it's just the start of learning to fall with an open heart. My friends are moving forward, buying houses, getting paid. And I'm here counting pennies, feeling like I'm late to a party that I wasn't even invited to. But I'm still showing up, 'cause what else can I do? Another no that sounds a lot like never. But I've been down before, I'm getting better at standing up when I've been knocked aside, at finding light when I'm running out of time. 'Cause I'm learning to fall, learning to break, learning to bend before I break. Every stumble, every scar is teaching me how strong we are. I'm learning to fall so I can fly. With every tear, I'm getting by. It's not the end, it's just the start of learning to fall with an open heart. And there are nights I scream into the dark, why me? But no one answers back. And there are days I swear I've lost the spark, but then I see the cracks letting in the light I couldn't find, reminding me I'm still alive. And maybe falling isn't failure, maybe it's the only way to find my nature. I'm learning to fall, I'm learning to break, but I won't let the fear take everything I have to take. Every stumble, every scar has made me who I truly are. I'm learning to fall so I can fly. No more hiding, no more asking why. It's not the end, it's just the start of learning to fall and falling apart. So I can with hope, I'm learning to fall so I can fly. Yeah, I'm learning to fall, and that's alright. Learning to fall so I can